Today I would like to talk about this wonderful gadget, the clicker. The clicker can take your speaking experience and your presentations and your talks and elevate it to a 2.0 version of yourself. So in this video we're going to talk about the clicker and how it's an immediate upgrade to your speaking power and your presence, and how your audience will notice an amazing difference. Let's get into it. Here at this channel, we're all about helping you grow and develop as a speaker. We want you to think about speaking, we want you to take action by actually doing speaking, and we want you to then reflect and grow as an individual. Wherever you are in your speaking journey, whether you're just starting out or you're experienced, we can offer something to you. We're really focused on giving practical tips, immediate advice that you can implement right now to make a difference to your impact as a speaker. What we really home in and focus on is being authentic, being real, and connecting with the audience to build rapport so that you can instigate change and they will act on your message that you're sharing with them. So you've got a brilliant talk lined up, you've got your slides ready, whether it's on PowerPoint or Keynote or some other slide sharing software, you're ready to go, you're on fire, you're going to smash it out of the park. And you're ready. You've got your laptop, you've got your PC, and you're poised, ready to hit the button, ready to start your talk and start moving your slides. Or maybe you've got somebody to help you who's actually going to start moving the slides as you present and as you speak. So you start your speech, and what happens? You've got to quickly go look down, hit the key on the laptop, look up again and carry on speaking. Or your colleague is moving the slides for you. So what happens? John, can you, next slide please? Yep, no, not that one. Let's go back 2 slides. No, let's go forward 1 slide. That's the one. And then you carry on speaking. So every time you've got to speak and change your slide, you're breaking your connection and your rapport with the audience. This is a problem. You are chained to your laptop or your PC when you're presenting or when you're giving a talk to your audience because you are not using the clicker. You are chained to your laptop or your PC wherever you're presenting, whether it's in a small meeting room with an intimate meeting with 6 or 7 colleagues, because you are not using this wonderful little device called a clicker. Let's explore this. Over the last 20 odd years that I've been giving presentations, attending conference events, internal meetings, external meetings, and for the last 2 or 3 years, Zoom meetings, I see a lot of people present and give talks, either where I'm involved in the lineup of speakers or where I'm a member of the audience. And the number one thing that lets those colleagues down when they speak and they present and their impact and their power as a speaker is they are not using a clicker. They are tapping the button on the laptop, or they're getting somebody else to tap the button on the laptop. And the problem with this is there is a lack of alignment. There is no synchronicity, if I can use that word, in terms of the slides flowing with the natural rhythm of how you're speaking. So you need to use a clicker. If you use a clicker, it will really upskill your ability to deliver a great talk and a great presentation. So let me outline the problem. The problem is that you are having to move your slides by hitting a button, and by the very nature of that action you have to look down at your laptop or your PC. There is a break in your speaking, or at least a break in your concentration. And this is a problem. You reduce your own presence, you reduce your own power, and you reduce the impact of your message when you're having to do it from a fixed point without a clicker. So what are all of the issues associated with this? One, you break your natural rhythm and your spontaneity in terms of speaking. Two, you have to think about the fact that you've got to move the slide. Three, you're fixed in one position, typically at a podium with the laptop or where the PC is. You are not free. You're chained to the laptop or the PC and you cannot move around the stage. You cannot let your natural energy flow because you're locked, you're passive, you're stationary. And naturally, when you start to move around the stage, energy will flow. The other problem with getting someone else to move your slides is that someone else hasn't been practicing with you every single day in terms of delivering your speech. They don't know the rhythm. They don't know on what particular word or ending of whatever you're saying the slide has to change to complement what you're saying. So it's a bit like this, that you own an amazing sports car and you are super experienced at driving the car and you want to get from destination A to destination B. And you've practiced driving on that destination, you know all the nooks, the bends and the crannies of the road, you know the performance elements of your car, and you know how to get the best out of your car to deliver an amazing experience to somebody who's sitting in the passenger seat. Now, would you let somebody else drive that performance sports car? Somebody who's got no experience, that hasn't put the practice in, that doesn't know where the destination is, and doesn't know the outcome that you need for the experience that you want to give to your passenger? No, you wouldn't. It's crazy. You wouldn't let anyone else drive your sports car. So why on earth would you let somebody else control and manage the pace and speed of your slides? It's absolutely ridiculous. You and only you should control the flow and the pace and the speed of your slides to complement the natural speaking rhythm and power of you and the message that you're delivering. So the solution to this problem of not being able to manage and control the pace and the speed and the flow of your slides is the clicker. This is a device that you can buy on Amazon, probably for about $25 or £25, and it will have a phenomenal 110% impact on your presenting ability. So the clicker comes typically in two pieces. You've got a USB plug-in device that will plug into the laptop or the PC, and it's plug and play. So if you're presenting at a new venue where you've never been before, it's very easy and fast to set up. And then you've got the clicker itself. The clicker will have a couple of buttons left and right to move slides back and to move slides forward. The clicker will typically also have a button that fades the slides to black and then brings them back onto screen. Now this can be very useful when you want to pause what you're doing and maybe address somebody in the audience or pick up a question or just pause the flow of your speaking for whatever reason. It's also super beneficial when you're starting your presentation or your talk and you don't want to have your title slide up on the screen, or you may be going for a dramatic entry and you just want to fade in from black. The other thing that is very helpful with the clicker is it's got a laser light on it. And this can be brilliant when you've got data and information up on a slide and you want to emphasize a particular point. But the biggest benefits of having a clicker is it gives you freedom to move away from the fixed point of your laptop or your PC. You're actually free to move around the room, to move around the stage. And sometimes if you're presenting within a meeting room, you may not want to sit right at the front where the power cable attaches to your laptop. There may not be enough space there. You may want to sit at the back of the room where you can see the big screen and the visuals and manage that way. Or it may not be appropriate for you to be squeezed in right at the front where the laptop and the power cables are and nobody can see you properly. By having a clicker, the biggest benefit that you get is freedom. Freedom to control where you sit, freedom to control where you stand, freedom to control where and how you present. The other benefit of the clicker device is that you can control the speed and the pace of your slides. Naturally, as you give a speech or a talk, there is a flow to the energy and the rhythm of the speech. And if you've practiced well, your slides will be aligned to that rhythm. Some slides may only be on screen for a few seconds. Some slides may be on screen for up to a minute or possibly longer if you're actually telling a story or making a particular point. And I see this a lot nowadays when I'm in meetings, on online meetings in Zoom or Google Meet or whatever platform you're on, is typically you're having to present to a group of people. You may have had to send off your presentation to somebody else, and they're controlling the slides, and they can never ever match your rhythm. So one top tip I would give you is always advocate and fight for the right for you to share your screen and for you to manage the flow of your own slides. So it's almost like using a virtual clicker for online meetings. The other benefit of using a clicker is that you can actually use your body, use your energy to make an impact with the audience. And you're not worried about the laptop and the PC on one end of the stage. You can walk around wherever you like. And it is actually liberating. And if you haven't actually used a clicker, I would encourage you to order one now. I'll drop a link in the one that I use, which is a Kensington clicker, which is quite robust. And to be fair, I haven't tried out a million, but this is the first one I've bought and it's been with me for about 15 years without any issues. The only thing I do is just replace the battery. But I'll pop a link in the description below in the video and have a look, order a clicker. And if you're using slides, this is fundamentally critical to upskilling yourself and getting to a version 2.0 of yourself. I now want to do something for you. I would like to give you my Speaking Success Primer. This is a single page downloadable PDF that you can download from the first link in the description. And the Speaking Success Primer is a simple and easy to understand guide that contains 10 top tips about how to improve your speaking right now. So you could take the primer and it will help you think, and it will help you reflect on what you can do differently for your next speaking project. It's absolutely free and I want to share that with you because I genuinely want you to become better right now. Please download the Speaking Success Primer and start your speaking success journey right now. If you've really enjoyed this video, I would like to direct you towards the second link in the video description. And this links you to an online page about my speaking course that I've just published. It's called The Basics of Speaking, and it's a 3.5-hour video course with 9 lessons covering all aspects of speaking. It's got downloadable frameworks and it's got learning reflection worksheets, so lots of good value added content. And it's 3.5 hours of video, voiceover content, and it's a course helped to design you improve and carry on your journey in speaking and being a successful speaker. So if you've enjoyed today, click the second link in the description below and see if you're interested in downloading this online speaking course. My other recommendation for you would be to go and explore the venue where you're going to be presenting or giving your meeting, talk, presentation. If it's an internal meeting, it's quite easy. You're in the office block, you're in the building, you can go to the meeting room and you can go and check how you're going to be presenting. And it may be that there's a PC within that room, and what you want to check is, have you got access to the USB slot on that PC so you can actually plug in the USB device, the receiver, into that PC. If you've got your own laptop as part of your work or your business, it's a lot easier. You can just plug it in and you're good to go. If you're actually presenting externally somewhere, like a venue, community hall, another office space, or a conference event, or some other sort of venue that you're not familiar with and that's new, my advice to you would be book some time in with Venue Facilities and go and have a look at the room that you're going to be presenting in. That approach and that strategy has never failed me. I remember there was one particular example where I'd booked the local hall of a library building to present to a group of nurses. And when I got to that venue, there was no external bit of kit. There was no PC or anything that I could access. The PC was locked away in a cupboard that was shut and not accessible to me. And the whole flow was that you had to email your presentation in advance and they would load it up for you. And I actually asked to have access to the PC, and the response back was, well, that's very difficult. We'll have to get the caretaker out. He'll have to unlock the cupboard. But I persisted and I had to go back and make a second visit. The caretaker came, he opened up the cupboard where the PC stack was. I took out my clicker device and I took out the receiver and I popped it in. I installed it and then I checked to make sure I could move my slides. So sometimes you will face barriers, but always explore those barriers and push ahead. It's another great favourite at university locations or colleges of excellence, that they typically just have a PC, like a monitor and a keyboard on the podium, and you can't actually get to the PC stack to plug in your receiver. Always figure out how you're going to plug in your clicker, and always ask if you're presenting at a venue and they do want to take control of uploading your slides or vetting your slides, have you got a clicker? Are you okay if I bring my own clicker? And then when you turn up to give your speech or your presentation, turn up 30 minutes early so you can plug in and check your device. And actually that's a top tip as well. Get to wherever you're going to be presenting 30 minutes early, make sure you plug in your clicker device and you can use it and practice your speech with the flow of the slides. So now I wanted to talk about the fact that you've invested in a clicker, you've got the clicker, it's going to be part of your process in terms of delivering your speech or your talk, and you've got a brilliant stack of slides, you've got an excellent speech you've crafted together. How do you use the clicker as part of your speech preparation to make sure you're going to deliver an amazing experience for your audience? Well, when you speak and you present or you give a talk, you can either give a talk just verbally without any associated props or materials such as slides, or you can actually present with slides. And look out for a future video where I will be talking about slide design and presenting with slides effectively. But in essence, if you've got some slides, then what you have to do when you practice, you have to use your clicker. Because what you've got to do is time the slides and the change of the slides to your speech. And you want to do it in a smooth, natural and effective way. So you have to practice and you have to know, when am I going to hit the button on the clicker? When I'm going to fade out to black? When I'm going to fade back in? When do I want to use my laser pointer? How is it all going to stack up and how is it all going to connect together? So practicing with your clicker is actually invaluable. And particularly if you're going to go to a venue, I would encourage you, if you can get time ahead of delivering your speech or your talk, practice with your clicker at that venue, because you can then move around in your space and actually maximize the experience for your audience. But when you practice, practice with your clicker. Find the rhythm of your slides. Know when you're going to change that slide. The other benefit of using a clicker and a clicking device when you're practicing, and if you're using slides to deliver your talk or your speech, is that the slides will help you memorize your speech. So the actual movement of the slides with the clicker, each slide will act as a prompt for you to recall the next part of your speech. So that's another benefit of using a clicker and using a clicking device. This is a totally different experience to having to stop, move out of the frame, click the frame, come back into the frame and move the slide ahead. When you're standing and you're engaging with your audience and you've got the clicker in your hand and you're just pushing the button, it's effortless. And the audience will be so mesmerized and engaged with what you're saying, they're not even knowing that you're clicking the button and moving on to the next slide. And it becomes supernatural and it becomes as if by magic. And that's what you really want for your audience. When you're presenting with slides using a clicker, you want the slide transition and the movement to the next slide to be seamless. The slides and the technology and the movement and the progression of the slides should never ever be a distraction to you. You're the real reason the audience are there. You are the person they want to experience, not your slides. The slides are just an enhancement to boost you to present the 2.0 version of yourself. The slides are there to amplify your message, and the clicker is a key tool and a key device to make you effective, to make you powerful, and for you to present with impact. But in order to do all those things, you have to practice using the clicker. And if you've not used a clicker before, I would definitely advocate practicing, sorting it out, plugging it into your laptop, doing your speech practice runs with the clicker, figuring out when you hit the button. And if you're actually incorporating movement, because let's not forget, you've now got the clicker. So you've smashed the chains that were holding you stationary to the podium, and you can now move about the room, the stage, the conference venue with confidence. And practice how you're going to move. Practice which hand you're going to have the clicker in. Practice when you're going to change that slide. And the slides changing will be subconscious mental triggers in your memory for when you move on to the next bit of the speech. So everything comes together and it's quite seamless. But you've got to practice, and you've got to use the clicker, and you've got to believe in yourself, having the confidence and the capability to use this device. Another piece of advice I would give you is keep a little cable bag or a little pouch where you keep all your HDMI cables, your adapter cables. If you do a lot of presenting, or you're going to be doing a lot of talks and speeches, you want to have this kit in your work bag or in your travel bag. And in that same bag, you want to keep your clicker. And if it's appropriate, order a couple of clickers, one to keep at home when you're practicing, one to keep in your travel bag, and you may want to order a third one for work. That way, you know it's going to be all right on the night. You're going to have your clicker with you all the time, you'll never ever forget it, and you'll be there ready to turbocharge your speaking experience. And also, that way, you're always ready to jump in and present with power, impact, and being authentic. So the clicker really is your secret weapon in terms of giving an absolutely brilliant experience when presenting with slides. The other thing I was going to say to you is don't discount the value of the clicker when you're actually giving smaller presentations in more intimate settings. So it could be it's a team meeting and you're giving an update to maybe 5 or 6 people. Don't discount the value of using a clicker. I know it may be a little hassle, a few seconds of messing around, plugging it in, getting it set up, having the receiver ready, but it will really pay dividends in terms of your impact and your presence and your ability to give a polished performance to your team members, to your boss, to your line reports, to the people that work in your team, to your business colleagues and partners. So always, where possible, where you're using slides, I would advocate always using a clicker. Don't discount it. Don't just think that a clicker is for a more formal presentation, for presenting to large groups of people. And when I first started using clickers, when I started on my speaking journey about 20 years ago, and I picked up the top tip of using a clicker in a book about presenting and speaking that I was learning from, it was liberating. And slowly, as you start to practice and as you start to deliver talks and speeches and you're constantly using the clicker, you actually start to leverage that tool and capability. And there's nothing more satisfying than saying to a colleague, no, it's fine, I've got a clicker, you just sit back, relax, enjoy the experience, I'm going to drive the slides. And there's nothing more liberating than being able to sit with your team at the table, but still be able to present with confidence, moving the slides as if by magic. Don't take my word for it. Order your clicker, start using it, and use it for your next speech, presentation, topic, update, where you're going to be using slides. And it has to be said that if you're presenting with slides, you've got to present with the clicker. They actually go hand in hand. Using your clicker is like you being a Jedi Knight. The clicker is your lightsaber, and you're wielding the clicker to cut through the darkness of the dark side by presenting effectively and letting the light of your authentic self shine brilliantly and gloriously to your audience when you present. So Take control, take charge, be proactive, design your speaking environment and your experience, and use the clicker. Bring the clicker to every single talk and presentation you have, upskill yourself, and deliver an amazing experience for your audience. Experience yourself as confident and authentic and relaxed when you're not having to worry about the stress mentally about I've got to change the slide, I've got to change the slide, I've got to get back to the laptop, or I've got to move from this end of the slide back to the laptop because I've got to change the slide, and you've disrupted your natural rhythm. Or if Tom is helping you move your slides and he messes up, and you had a massive reveal on one of your slides and he's revealed it too early, he's killed the whole experience. Be in control, be confident, be happy, show the best version of yourself by using the clicker. Upskill yourself, be brilliant, and be amazing. Thank you. Please post some comments about this video, what you liked, what you think that could be improved, and your ideas about future topics that you want me to talk about to do with speaking, presenting, slide design, audience interaction, speaking experiences, anything and everything to do with speaking. Drop me some comments, let me know, and it may well be that the next Talking Titans video is based on your feedback. Also, I would request that you subscribe to the channel if you found value today, give a thumbs up to the video, and look forward to joining you again on the next Talking Titans video. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for your attention, and I wish you every success in your journey as a speaker.